Well, the third and final day of practice is coming to a close here at stop number 7 of the FLW Tour here at Lake Champlain. This event's presented by TH Marine. There's smallmouths here on Champlain. Mr. Matt Becker, you like catching smallmouth, so it's only fitting that I'd pick your thoughts on how the lake's shaking out this week.
Yeah, well, I first appreciate the kind words. You know, I sure do.
You want me to say some more? I could throw some more compliments.
Sure,
we'll save it for later. We'll let you talk about it.
I kind of need it after this practice, but you know, I do love chasing smallmouth. I love catching spawning smallmouth, so I come in with that mindset that that's all I was going to do was focus on those spawning smallmouth, and I spent a lot of time looking, and the only reason I'm in right now is because my batteries are shot, or else I'd still be out there looking for some more.
So in your opinion, do you think a lot of the smallmouths have already done their thing? We have a lot of post-spawn fish right now?
Yeah, I would say. You know, I was here before the off limits, and there was a lot of fish spawning then.
Okay.
And I actually have a couple that are still on beds from 2 weeks ago.
It's a very smallmouth thing of them to do.
I know, I couldn't believe it, and they're two good ones, so hopefully they stick around till Thursday.
Yeah, you figure they've been around that long, they'll probably hang out for another couple of days.
Yeah, it was funny, I weighed it in 2 weeks ago, and I weighed him again the other day, and he had lost about 0.2 of a pound in 2 weeks. But he still was a 4-pounder, so I'll take him.
Heck yeah. Well, does it surprise you a little bit because, you know, when we wrapped up stop number 6 and we were getting ready to come up here, all I saw on social media were guys buying floggers and trying to get like smallmouth stuff ready, and I think everyone thought this was going to be a big sight fishing tournament with, like, you know, a lot of 4-pounders, kind of looking at the Costa from last year, right?
Right.
Is it just did it get too warm up here? Has it been too late of a spring? Anything you think weather-wise that could be playing into what we're seeing now?
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of everything. The water's a little bit higher. The water's a lot dirtier than it was last year. And last year in that Costa was just the perfect storm. You know, a big wave of fish moved up. Yep. We had perfect weather throughout the tournament where you could keep searching. And you could see out to that 15 foot last year, and you can't see anywhere close to that right now. So I'm sure there's some fish spawning out that deep, but we can't see them. So, you know, that's going to drop the weights drastically, I think.
So with that, did you look at any largemouth stuff this week?
You know, today when it was raining, I went and goofed off for a few hours. You know, I caught a bunch of, 2.5, maybe a 3-pounder, but that's not really in my game plan unless I'm just killing time, you know, with a solid bag of bedding fish already, and just, you know,
that's a good way to get a kicker too out here. If you do play around with it enough, you know, 5-pound largemouths you can come in contact with, where like a 5-pound smallmouth, a lot harder to come across on Champlain, at least. For sure. And you know, that's why I'm glad I did it for a couple hours today, because I just got some confidence getting some bites that I'll just roll in and do it once I have a solid bag of smallmouth. But I'm probably just going to keep looking after I catch my bag and try and find some more for days 3 and 4. And we've seen that work out plenty of times here in the past, so I'm not too worried about how it'll shake out for you. I do want to ask you one thing for the folks watching. Give them an idea what you think it's going to take to win total weight. To win, let's see, we're probably 18 a day. Okay. So that's 72 pounds. I can dig that. 72 to 75, maybe if they catch a big kicker largemouth. Sure. But it's not going to be as high as last year's Costa for sure. Even check weights aren't going to be that high. It's going to be more similar to 2 years ago or the last time the tour was here, in my opinion. Slightly lower weights, probably still no shortage of fish to be caught. Oh, no. So it'll be a fun one all around. Yeah, lots and lots of limits, you know, tons of fish. Lots of 2.5, 2 3/4 pound fish, but to get those 3.5 to 4-pounders are tough right now. Well, I like it, man. I'm going to let you go get rolling, get some dinner. You got a day to think about it before we get this party started. Good luck. Thanks. Appreciate it. Moving right along, we have David Dudley here, probably the guy we want to talk to the most this week for multiple reasons. Reason one would be Angler of the Year race. You are 1 point behind John Cox. Thing number two, this is Lake Champlain. You're David Dudley. You just catch them out here. It's like you and Scott Martin are the guys that seem to just catch them every time we come here and do well. So I need some juice from you. We won't talk about AOI right away, but I want to know how Champlain's looking this time around compared to previous trips here.
I think it's fishing about the same it always does. You know, it's probably gonna take 17 a day to make the top 30, and you know, probably the 60th is probably going to be 16 and a half a day. You know, it's that tight. You know, 1 pound here makes a world of difference. I don't think the like typically, you know, we're either a lot further along. I think with the high water, it's got the fish spread out a little bit more.
Okay.
They're spawning in different places, and the largemouth are in different places. So, but here's what I say. It doesn't matter if you're not getting as many bites. When they're biting, you're catching 60 3-pounders, whatever, in a day. It doesn't matter if you only catch 15 in a day. You're still, the weights are still going to be the same. You know what I'm saying? It's, yeah, maybe we're not catching, you know, instead of 60, we're catching 40, but the weights are, you know, relatively going to be the same because there's so many twins here. Like, and this is what people, you know, people who are watching a 3-pounder, you're like, a 3-pound 4-ouncer. Yeah, like it's that much difference. And when you have northern bass, it's the growing season short, so a 3-pound 8-ouncer is like a giant.
Yeah,
but a 3-pounder, you're like, you know, that's just par. But you know, anywhere else you go in the country, a 3-pounder, you're still fist pumping. But here, it's a world of difference, and it's that much difference. 1 pound would be 25 places.
I got you. I think one interesting thing about Champlain, of course, is that you have smallmouth and you have largemouth, and you can weigh in a good bag of smallmouth and you can weigh in like a really good bag of largemouth, in that you can hit like up, you know, 20, 21, 22 pounds of largemouth. Do you think this week will we see a good largemouth bite, or are them bigger bites coming from largemouth?
I'm going to say no on the largemouth, because they're like the water's up, so that puts a lot of turf in play, and they're kind of thin and spread out. So I'm going to say no to largemouth. Now the smallmouth, they, you know, they're always in the same areas, same places, but largemouth that's going to be a thin pickings. So.
Okay. Interesting. Do you foresee, like, say when we get into the top 10, we'll have 9 of the 10 guys have been mainly up on this end of the lake, this upper end, targeting smallmouth? Like, it'll be that kind of hard on the brown ones this week?
Oh, you're asking what out of the top 10? How?
Like
I'm going to say, the winner is probably going to have a mixture, you know, but the last 2 coasts have been won with smallmouth, so it's hard for me to go against the brown ones. So I'm going to say, probably 8 of the 10 are going to be brown ones, if I had to guess.
Interesting. Well, I, of course, can't let you leave here without asking you a little bit about Angler of the Year. Of course, you're no stranger to winning those titles, but with it being so close this week, does it change things at all? Like you're saying, you know, just the size quality of fish here, where like a 3.2 and a 3-pounder is a lot of points. Does that add anything to it, or you just kind of go out and you're like, oh, well, we'll fish, and how it shakes out, shakes out?
My motto is always the same. The more bites you get, the better chances you have of getting that 3.4 or then a 3.8, which, you know, your odds are going to be better. I don't like, everybody knows I hate the term swinging for the fences and all that big, you know, I don't know. I don't like to do that. I just go out and set the hook as many times as I can and cross my fingers, and hopefully, you know, me being 1 point behind John, I mean, there's, Buddy Gross and Webster, and then Scott Martin. You know, this is one tournament where it could sway big time.
No doubt.
Here on the Angler of the Year, like, if we were at Chickamauga or, you know, another lake, and a couple pounds, you know, maybe 15. No, you get behind 2 pounds on here, AOI is out the door. So it could be some major flip-flopping going on here. John could have a you know, an awesome day and catch all 3 4s and come in with 16 pounds, and then I happen to catch a 4-pounder, and I look like I'm the better angler. And all it was just a, you know, and it could go either way. So 1 pound is huge. So Angler of the Year could be shifted big time, and I know it. It can. I know it.
Well, it'll definitely be an exciting week. I think fans that are watching this are getting ready to watch this tournament, not only from the volume of fish that we'll see caught. Almost everyone has fun when you're up here on Champlain, but this Angler of the Year race is going to be definitely one of the tighter, probably more fun Angler of the Year races we've had in a long time.
Yeah, because even in thinking what I agree, because let's just paint a scenario. Say I come in with 17 and John comes in with 18. Well, even though that's 1 pound, but that could flip-flop so easy. Like, and then if that flip-flops again, 2 pounds on this turf, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad day if something like that happens. So it's gonna be fun. I've been looking forward to this. I always like competition, and you know, everybody in the top 5 is fishing well, and you know they wouldn't be there if they won't. So it's gonna be a fun race.
Well, David, everyone's rolling in now. I'm gonna let you go, get you some food, rest up, and we'll see how it shakes out Thursday. For the final interview of the evening, we have FLW Tour rookie Joel Willert. You're having a really good season so far, man. You're currently qualified for the FLW Cup as it stands now. A good showing here on Champlain. We'll certainly have you going to Hot Springs this August. The thing, and one of the reasons I want to talk to you, is that you call Minnesota home. I know we have a lot of smallmouths in Minnesota. There's smallmouths out here, so I assume you've been catching them and kind of know your way around here, even though it's not like you spent a ton of time on Champlain.
Yeah, you know, I was out here one time last year. It was later in the year, and you know, looking, you know, I've been fishing for smallmouth the whole, you know, last 3 days. I haven't looked for largemouth. I haven't caught a largemouth. I committed all my time to smallmouth and looking at them, and that's what I've been doing. You know, laying on the front deck of my boat for the last, you know, 45 hours for the past 3 days, and you know, I've committed myself, and you know, so far so good. You know, hopefully they all stay put, and we're gonna have a good one here.
Well, you know, we asked when you walked up here, you're soaking wet, but you said that's from laying on the carpet all day looking at them. You bring up a good point though, like committing to looking at smallmouths. We've heard from multiple guys this week on their take of smallmouths and kind of where they're at in the spawn. I've heard some guys say that, you know, there's a lot of fish post spawn. Absolutely, there's still fish on beds. A lot of guys have been talking about lack of quality, maybe, you know, and here that's a 3.5 pounder versus a 3 pounder kind of thing.
Sure.
Just in your opinion, what's your take on the smallmouth out here and their cycle in the spawn, or where we're at?
You know, I'm kind of baffled, to be honest. You know, I've covered kind of most of the, you know, I've been up north, I've been down by Burlington, kind of everywhere in between, and you know, I don't really know. I mean, I expected to come up here and see a lot more fish on beds than what I'm seeing. It's a struggle. I mean, I'll get into an area and I'll see, you know, 5 or 6 fish on the bed, and then I'll go for an hour and a half and not see a fish. And then I'll get into another little area where, you know, there's a few in there. I think a lot of them are post spawn. The further north you get, I think they're post spawn. Mid-lake here, you know, I'm seeing a lot of fish on beds. Like you said, finding the quality is a problem. But you know, I got a handful. I got enough to get me through a few days of, you know, first few days of the tournament, and see what happens.
You know, another thing I was curious about is in a tournament where smallmouths are on beds, and you know they're on. You can go around and, you know, you could have 400 waypoints, just, you know, a fish you found, and I could have 400 waypoints, and you don't really have to worry about recycling some fish. Yeah, you may go to one that got caught. But it seems like I've heard this week too that guys just aren't really finding as many either, which then kind of comes into that strategy factor of like, I don't know, I got 30, right? But you don't know how many other people have found. Is that the case for you? Do you feel like you got enough to get you at least 2 solid days of fishing?
I'll be honest, I got probably 15 that are in the 3.5, 3.25 or better. You know, I'm gonna sit down tomorrow, I'm gonna look at my graph. You know, I got some that are really obvious and some that I don't know how I found them, to be honest. You know, just going along the bank and just happened to come upon them. But you know, my better ones are a little bit hard to see, and I don't know if I'm going to go right to them right away, or you know, I'm going to have to make that decision. You know, game time decision. You know, whether I go pluck off the easy ones that I feel like everybody else saw, or do I go to my bigger ones that, you know, are a little bit harder and kind of run around. So yeah, I'm going to make that decision tomorrow when I'm sitting in my boat rigging, and we'll kind of.
That's what the off day is good for, man. You got to kind of find yourself, center a little bit before we get this party started. Have you thought at all about the FLW Cup? Like what it would be like to qualify for it, or are you just trying to get through this one before you jump the gun?
You know, I've thought about it a little bit. I'm trying not to, though. You know, I just want to have a good tournament here. You know, finish the year strong. You know, I've kind of figured out what I need to get to make the cup. You know, as far as where I finish this tournament, and you know, I just want to go out and have fun and just have a good tournament here, and you know, let everything fall into place and to make the cup awesome. And you know, if I don't, we'll see what happens then. You know, I don't even want to think about that quite yet. But
well, we won't bring it up anymore. The mosquitoes are out in full force now, so I'm going to let you get rocking, Joel.
I appreciate it.
Good luck this week, man.
Thank you.